Now to a story you'll see only on 4. It's an update to a situation we've been following for months. Some very strong accusations against a mother accused of trying to poison her own baby. It turned out the DA believes she didn't do it. And now Kim Lawton is giving her first ever interview to Lou Raguse. Lou?
Don, Kim Lawton came to News 4 with her attorney to tell her story. It's been a year since her baby was taken from her. And even though the DA says she's innocent, she still hasn't gotten her son back. Like many relationships that come to an end, the one between Kimberly Lawton and Thomas Myers started out well.
When times were good, they were good. They were great.
And ended ugly.
Oh, I have endless emails and text messages. I can just quote one of them, that I'm an evil person who got pregnant on purpose and I was using him for money.
That pregnancy is what prevented a clean break. They split up before little George was born. And Kim says her interaction with Tom then only got worse.
And did that sting at all?
Of course. You know, I loved him, and it hurt. It definitely hurt.
This case of a former couple with bitter feelings elevated to a whole other level on an evening in March of last year when Kim got a knock on the door from Child Protective Services.
You know, I was shocked. She came into my kitchen and I asked her what was going on, and she told me that someone had made an allegation that I was putting poison in my son's bottles when I was sending them to his father's house.
Kim says she was confused because every time Tom had George as part of their joint custody agreement, she says she texted to see how the baby was doing, and Tom always texted back, good or fine. The next day, Kim says she took George to Women and Children's Hospital to get him checked out. She made sure Tom was there, and the doctors said George was completely healthy. She thought that was the end of it. But according to Orchard Park Police, Tom gave them a couple bottles of breast milk, which he told them he thought Kim poisoned. 5 days later, authorities took George from Kim and gave him to Tom.
I was the only person in the world that had a bond with him. So it wasn't like he was just taken from me. I was taken from him.
What are you doing today?
You know, I think if you ask any parent what it would feel like to have their baby taken from them, I mean, there's no words. When my son was taken from me, I think I just laid on the ground. I laid on my bedroom floor for days and I just cried.
Authorities did not just take her baby. They took away her 2 older children who have a different father. When CPS ruled the allegations were unfounded, she thought the end was near. But Orchard Park Police never cleared her name. And in October, claiming the bottles tested positive for ethanol, they arrested and charged her with attempted assault on her infant son. The Erie County District Attorney disagreed.
One of the things that we do in the District Attorney's Office is we're not a rubber stamp for anybody. We do an independent review of every case, especially every felony case, to make sure that there's sufficient evidence to prosecute somebody.
I really believed once someone took the time to look at the evidence that I would be exonerated. I always knew that. I always felt that 100%. It's just no one took the time until it reached the DA's lap.
It is my belief that the defendant is innocent.
According to Sedita, there was only a trace, harmless amount of ethanol found in the bottles. And he believes it was produced naturally as part of the fermentation process. He says that likely happened as the bottles sat at the Orchard Park Police Department for 2 weeks, then the State Crime Lab for 2 months before being tested.
Every nursing mother knows that you can't leave bottles out for more than 4 to 6 hours or the milk spoils.
A grand jury decided in March not to indict Lawton. 11 months after her child was taken from her, the criminal charges were dropped.
My son went from a 5-month-old baby to being 1.5 years now, and that time can never be made up.
Have you even seen a picture of him or know what he looks like now?
I've seen pictures of him because my son's father posted pictures of him on Plenty of Fish,
Which is?
a dating website.
Kim and her attorney, Stephen Cohen, are preparing a lawsuit against the Orchard Park Police and Tom Myers. They believe Myers, who owns more than a dozen McDonald's restaurants in New York and Pennsylvania, set her up after she filed for child support. Because as soon as she did, Kim says Tom sent a bottle of milk to a lab in Michigan that specializes in litigation.
When that bottle came back, it showed that there was Coumadin and cleaning product in the bottle. So he took that report, and I didn't know this at the time, and that's what he gave to CPS. He said, look, I have this report. She's poisoning our son.
But more important to Kim than a lawsuit is the reunion she's still waiting for. Weeks continue to pass since the district attorney exonerated her, and none of Kim's children have been returned to her.
It's heartbreaking that I'll never see my son's first step. I'll never hear his first word, but I'm just focusing on all the memories we have ahead of us to make.
Thomas Myers and the Orchard Park police chief both declined to comment for this story.
Lou, incredible. Why doesn't she have her children back?
Well, it's a great question, Don. Unfortunately, we don't have a clear answer. Family court is not open to the public, so we don't know what's being said in court. But I'm sticking with this story, and I'll bring you any updates in the coming weeks.
All right, thank you, Lou Raguse.